presenting Channeling Erik's Hour of Enlightenment.
Hey guys, this is Lisa Matthews, Erik's mommy, and oh my God, I almost didn't get on because I cannot get the Blog Talk Radio's Direct Connect to work. So it was, oh my God, I was like totally scrambling. Okay, so, but it's okay. It's all cool. I'm here, you're here, and all is well. And we are so lucky to have Kim Voigt from embody-light.com. Get your pencils out, or your pens, and write that down. Kim Voigt, embody-light.com. And we've got our boy, Erik, who I love so much. Hi, sweetie.
He says, hi, Mom. And I got an image of him wearing he looked like a lumberjack. He had a red flannel checkered shirt on, or, the red flannel kind of big block shirt.
Cool.
So that was interesting. I've never seen him look like that, but...
Well, I mean, my husband is, gets through these phases, right? Like, he tells everybody about everything has to be LED lights. Change all your bulbs to LED lights. Or you have to wear vests, and vests are the great, but then there's also checkered shirts. And he has a closet full of checkered shirts, I swear to God. And he has no shame that he will wear it with striped pants. Not really, but okay. Anyway, that's another topic altogether. So that's
why
he's
he's showing you that. Daddy. He just is checking in on his dad, he says. So.
Oh, so sweet. All right, today, this is an awesome suggestion from Kim and Erik. Erik is going to share many of the facets of different forms of dementia, like Alzheimer's disease. Of course, that's not the only type of dementia. There are others, like multi-infarct dementia from many tiny strokes, and, of course, different forms of mental confusion in general. I need to listen to that one, okay? I'm just saying. Of course, he will cover the spiritual basis of each, I'm assuming, hopefully. Like what happens to the consciousness of those who suffer from these conditions, and what, if anything, can be done about these conditions? So, like my mother, she was demented, toward the end, and it seemed like she had one foot in the other side of the veil. She would say, I want to go there and point up. And she would talk about Gloria. I want to sit there. So, I think toward the end, she went in and out from the fifth dimension to our dimension. So carry away. Say what you will, Erik.
Yeah.
The mic is all yours and Kim's.
Well, Erik was just commenting on that to start with, and he said, that is very common, especially at the end when they're in the dying process.
Yeah.
That they're one foot in one world, one foot in the other. I saw that all the time in my career, where they'd be talking to people that were deceased and that type of thing.
Sure.
And, the medical industry always tended to think they were hallucinating. And I never really believed that they were actually hallucinating. I thought they were always seeing through to the other side. Yeah.
That's awesome. I would really like to hear your experience, maybe even some anecdotes about what you experienced as a nurse. And my daughter's a nurse, so I learned most of my medicine from nurses, okay? So I have a lot of respect for nurses.
Yeah. Well, that, during... I think it's important during, the dying process to acknowledge that and recognize that that's going on and just let them talk freely. When they're confused and demented, the one thing that we always really found helpful was don't try to, if they're telling you something that's just not making any sense, don't try to tell them, well, no, Mom, this happened in this year or that year. Just go with the conversation. Like say she's talking about like she just had a child last year or something, she's really confused.
Yeah.
And you might just talk about, well, how was that experience having your child, and what did your child grow up to do? And, you know, you just
acknowledge
just
it.
kind of go with it. But what he's saying is, you know, some of those people, when they do have dementia, they're not, it looks sad to us, but they're happy. They're not disturbed by it. Some of them.
Yeah.
But, you know,
except there's some that are really angry. There's some that, like my mom was horrible when she was not demented. I like demented mom a lot better. She used to beat the crap out of us all the time. She loved hairbrushes as the main form of, corporal punishment. That's or So,
and
so she was
that
nice
happened
when
with
she was
my
demented.
mom also at the end. She was very nice at the
why
end.
is
My
that?
mom was nice at the end. Because they've
they've
forgotten and let go of
angry.
all the things they were holding on to.
Mm.
So then Eric's also saying that can be such a healing process too, and sometimes they do choose to go through that at the end, so that you can heal some of those wounds and come together at the end. But so what Erik was telling me about when we were talking about doing this, I had a conversation with him, and he's saying that, you know, there are your natural causes, you know, where the arteries are thinning and that kind of thing. But he's talking a lot about there being a lot of disruption in the electrical impulses in the brain, that it's kind of getting short-circuited. That's part of it. And part of it's, he's telling me, okay, first of all, like any kind of medication, alcohol, all those kinds of things. And it doesn't even have to be, he's saying like all prescriptions medicines, not just ones that make you sleepy or whatever, or alcohol, any of those things. They kind of lower your body's natural ability to heal itself. So it interferes with it in that way. But then he also said that it's like it's clogging up the system. And it almost looks like, he said part of it is aluminum, but it almost looks like these little interfering, they almost look like little shreds of glass or something in the field. And he said they're really interfering with the transmission. He said something about it's amplified by cell phones, you know, the technology, the wireless stuff. It can also be amplified by that. So he talked about that.
Wait, what do you mean little pieces of glass? Where does it come from?
I said that's what it looks like. What I'm kind of seeing it. He's making me feel like it's a sluggishness that kind of develops, and I don't know if it's like where it's coming from, but if it's just a sluggishness in the fact that your body's not working at top peak when you're needing to use medications. Or there's some kind of process with there's interference going on.
Well, what's it from? Is it from cell phones and technology? Is that what you're saying, Erik?
Yes. He says yes. Okay. And he says these other things are making us, that he's talking about, are making us more susceptible to it. That's what he's saying.
Okay, so what can we do about it?
Well, he's saying it's key to, well, there's several things. You know, we got to keep our minerals up. We got to keep our bodies rested, exercised, hydrated, all those things. But the other things he's talking about is, one thing is when, and this goes in with technology too, he's saying some people have started to lose the ability to think for themselves. Because they rely too much, on technology, or they watch TV and they're kind of programmed.
Or they're raised to be approval seekers, like in some of my books for parents, you know, raising children who think for themselves and stuff, that they choose to belong to a pack by conforming and, you know, to their standards and seeking their approval, instead of, you know, being able to belong to a pack by creating by offering some sort of unique and meaningful contributions to PAC. Once you do that, once you give a contribution, then push, you can let go and you can think for yourself. You don't have to do whatever the PAC says, listen to the same music and all that stuff.
So, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And then kind of the whole reason this kind of came up in session. So we were discussing this because I've had more than one person, especially recently, where they're asking, is there something wrong with my memory? What's going on? I'm having problems with my memory. And so he's given me a couple things that can affect it. For one, we are in such a busy society that sometimes we get so overstimulated that we just kind of shut down because it's like our body's telling us enough. You need to stop and pay attention to what you're doing or whatever the situation is. That's part of it. The other thing he says, because I'm into the whole chakra and energy healing thing, all of these layers work together. You've got your emotional body, which is in your second chakra. Your mental body is controlled by your third chakra. So that's your thinking.
Okay.
All right. So if you are holding on to suppressed emotions, when one of those energy vortexes doesn't gets a block in it and stops spinning as fast as it should, it can and does affect the ones around it. So it affects the next level because they hold on to this emotional pain that eventually the energy shuts down, stops flowing, and that can cause real memory problems. And he's saying that's especially it's being seen in younger and younger and younger people. Wow. And then he gives me the scenario. If this went on long term, then it would start manifesting physically. So that's one way it can start spiritually.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, minerals in the body, that's kind of interesting that you bring that up right now, Erik and Kim, because I've been reading this, we're trying to, but, I'm so busy, freaking hell. But I got this book from blog member Betty Daniel, and who was so sweet to do it in large print, called The Body, A Guide for Occupants by Bill Bryson. And it is so funny and so full of facts. And, he talks about how we do not get the minerals that we should because the soil is pretty much depleted, and they're pretty important,
Mhm. Yeah, they're like spark plugs in a car almost. That's what keeps all that. There's so many electrical conducting things that go on in your body, these impulses, and if you don't have the minerals, it's not making the connections as well.
Yeah. All right, so why do some people with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia, and why are some of them not just nice, but they're angry? Like there are some alcoholics that are sweet, funny when they get drunk, and there are some that are angry drunks. So talk to you about that, Erik.
So what he's saying is it's like they get into patterns just like we do, and they're like locked in a pattern of that anger. And I'm asking him, is that tend to be people who are more angry during their lifetime, have a lot of anger issues? He said yes, and he said it can also be, he says because if you're, and he's not using this word, this is my word, if your cognition is so gone that you don't remember how it used to be, you're not going to be so upset about it. But if your cognition's like halfway gone, 3/4 gone, and you remember how it used to be, he's saying, of course you're going to be mad.
Yeah.
And then he said, you got to take into consideration other things are going on, other processes are going on with their body. Maybe they're in pain. And, they have dementia. They might not even have the ability to tell you about it any longer, you know.
Oh, and that's frustrating, of course, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So my mother was a nice, demented person. My father, I do think he had some dementia toward the end, but he was an angry SOB. And I think he wanted to find some scapegoat, for his being immortal. He could not believe that he could actually die and that he was actually mortal. And he wanted to lash out on somebody, and that somebody was me, the person that took care of him, his disabled daughter, my sister, and my mother for decades. And it's really weird. I mean, why would he choose to attack, with his dementia, the one that was always there for him?
Okay. I'm getting really big goosebumps. Because the person playing the heaviest role, the meanest role, can actually be the person who loves you the most. And because it takes a lot of guts and a lot of gumption to come into a lifetime where you're going to be a jerk and you're going to hurt people and they're going to hate you and they're going to sling back at you. It really takes somebody with gumption to be able to do that. And, knowing all along that they're there to guide you to do what you need to do. And so that being said, it's like, how a child, if they're going to go off, they'll go off to their parents because they know their parents are going to love them regardless, unconditionally, because they feel the safest with their parents, or like how they misbehave when you picked them up for daycare when they were angels all day long, because they know they're safe with you. Yeah. He knew he was safe with you. And he had anger and frustration. And then the other thing people do, too,
he was scared.
It's so much easier. He was scared, too. He didn't know what was going to happen. But it's also so much easier to be angry and project, Eric's saying this, too, project your crap at other people so that you don't have to deal with your own darkness, your own crap, your own shadow side.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And yet the daughter who changed colostomy bags, took them to doctor's appointments, took care of the disabled daughter and all that stuff for 35 years. When the other daughter from Arkansas swept in and took care of him for a couple of months, persuaded him and capitalized on the fact that he was angry at being mortal, convinced him to give her everything in his will. And what is really ironic about that, and God, I hope she's not listening, and of course she is not, is that she was the one who accidentally killed him. Long story.
Oh, my gosh.
Long story. I don't want to go into it, but it's so ironic. It's like he was on blood thinners, and she did fecal decompactions on him, and she was OCD. She wanted everything clean, including that asshole of my father, and she dug in so deep that she ripped something, and he exsanguinated into his retroperitoneal space. So it's weird how that karma, and it was the worst death possible. He was in such pain. But you know what? I think sometimes people die in the kind of pain they've given others in their life. I don't know. And I think it was all a spiritual contract and all that, but it's so weird and ironic to me. And I wish he had not suffered so much in that death.
Well, when you were talking, Eric asked me to tell you something. He said about the situation with your sister and the money. And this is something that I've recently learned of. There are universal laws that we just really are not, only have an inkling of. But whenever somebody takes something, money, or gets money that's not earned, there is a balancing that has to occur. And quite often, that other individual ends up losing the money.
I hope not. I hope not.
Or
I mean,
that
and you know what?
kind
It's
of
only
thing.
money. It's only money. And the worst part is that my sister lost the rest of her family, that nobody wants to have anything to do with her. Of course, I will always be there for her, but it's really sad. I mean, I don't care about money. So, it's just too bad that she chose money over us. And when I was using the e-board, like Ouija board, Erik board, I asked Jesus for a message for my sister Laura, and he, spelled out, you, what did he say? You crucify love. You use money to crucify love. That's not good. Anyway, on to different things. So, thank you for that, Erik. But what can we do for people with in our lives with dementia? Of course, we have to care for them and love them. And like you said, Kim, you have to not contradict their stories. You need to allow them to have those stories and give them the peace of having those stories. What else?
Well, okay, so Erik just kind of flashed a little image in my mind where he's saying that we have to be realistic sometimes. And I think he's speaking more about like people that are caretakers and get frustrated, where we expect them to be able to perform certain tasks and they no longer have the ability, mentally to do it. And people can get mad and get frustrated. And he says, he's saying, they haven't lost their ability to feel when somebody's mad at them or sense that kind of thing. And it's just counterproductive.
That's powerful.
Even though they've lost their cognition, they still feel it and they know it.
Yeah.
Just like he says, and because I just asked him in my mind, just like someone in a coma, you still talk to them because sometimes they do hear you,
Especially with the Pontine.
They just love them.
The Pontine stroke. They have the locked-in syndrome where they cannot communicate at all, yet they know and hear and feel everything, and that's just really awful. So I remember thinking about how I could still take care of my parents even though they abuse us so badly. I'm talking broken bones and running out, escaping to become homeless and all that stuff. But I still wanted to love them and take care of them because nobody else would. And it really became very clear to me, I don't know, they were still alive, but, I was brushing my teeth, and I saw these little sugar ants circling the bowl of the sink. I spit out the toothpaste and took them all down the drain, and I started to sob because I thought, wow, those are living creatures, and I just killed them, And then I thought, well, you know what? My parents are living creatures. Yeah, they are. They have been awful, as far as parents are concerned, but they are still living creatures, deserving of unconditional love. And from that point forward, I said to myself, I don't care what my sister, the other sister, that, I don't want to give her name. But anyway, what she did, I don't care what my father did or my mother did or whatever. Everybody deserves unconditional love. And that was such a release for me to be okay with loving someone that does not love you the same.
Mm-hmm. That was a very powerful lesson for you, as Erik's saying.
It was huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kim, can you share an anecdote as a nurse? And, oh my God, nurses are amazing.
Yeah,
can you share one that would help us understand this kind of thing?
So I'm thinking back to this one lady, and this was several years ago, but she had been in a motorcycle accident, and she was in a persistent vegetative state.
No.
And, nobody thought she understood. Nobody thought she could communicate. And just out of some strange happening, a person I knew, like back from high school, I happened to see in a store, a conversation got to where I worked, and she said, "Oh, I know this lady. She lives there." And, of course, I couldn't say anything. But when I went to work, just having a conversation with this lady, I said to her, well, I was at a store, and a lady asked me where I worked and mentioned your name. I said I went to high school with her. And I mentioned the lady's name, and she looked up at me, and tears started flowing down her eyes.
Oh, wow.
So I knew that she could hear us. And that was the first inkling any of us had that she was understanding or hearing and still had emotion.
Wow.
So you just never know, and you should just never assume that someone can't hear you.
Lead your life with love, not fear.
Mm-hmm.
Not hate, nothing. I mean, it's just nothing better than that.
Right.
Do you want to say anything else, Kim? Oh, I'm sorry.
Eric just told me something else, too. Yeah, just on that same thing we were talking about. He said even if that person that you were speaking to that has dementia or is in a vegetative state, even if they had no mental ability to put together what you said and understand it, they would feel the vibration of your loving words and assurance.
Oh, God, that's so important.
So he says just keep talking no matter what.
Now, on a comic relief point, as a physician, I love my patients, okay? I mean, to me, being a doctor was a calling. It was not a career. Did not care about money. I went on house calls and all that kind of stuff. But I love this one patient, and I'll call her Belle E. because I don't want to give her full name. And she was so lovely, but all of a sudden she went into a delirium, and I had to admit her to the hospital. Delirium is more acute than dementia, okay? So every time I came to see her, I could tell her the state of her medical condition by how far her real eyebrows were from her painted on eyebrows. Okay, so if they're pretty close, she was doing good. If her painted on eyebrows were way 2 inches above her regular eyebrows, we are in trouble. So that's the Belle E. I won't say her last name. Marker of how well they're doing. So I love her.
That is pretty funny.
You've got to have some humor. But anyway, she just happened to have a bladder infection. Older people do not do well with infections, and sometimes just a simple bladder infection can make them delirious. Anyway, she ended up fine. I treated her for a long time after that. So.
Okay, we used to see that all the time. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you have lots of stories. Eric, you
actually would be the first thing we'd check for a bladder infection when somebody would start having symptoms off, because it would almost always trace back to that. Yeah, and when they can't tell you.
Yes, and they sometimes don't make fevers, these older people. So, it's hard to determine if they're septic or whatever. All right, so Eric, do you have anything else to add, or Kim, before we take calls?
He says we're ready for calls.
Let's do it. Okie dokie. The first one is somebody from the 478 area code. Hi there. How are you doing?
I'm fine. And yourself?
Good. What you got for us, girl?
Hey, money. I would like a love reading. Whatever you pick up is fine.
Okay.
Okay, well, I will tell you what I am picking up is I just drew some cards. Eric told me to get them out today. So I drew a card of sensitivity. So saying you're extra sensitive to your energies and emotions right now, and to honor your true feelings, and that you're coming into your spiritual understanding, and that it's a matter of prioritizing to get what you got to do to get going on your spiritual understanding. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It is on the back burner. He's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I got a lot of stuff on the back burner, girl. Okay, I'm just saying, but it's okay. You know, everything has its sequence. Everything has its proper time and place, and there's no right order to things. It's what the heart wants, what the heart dictates.
But the people who are around me, they want me to believe that I need a job first before you can love. So. I mean, and they made it true. They made it come true. So I can't find a job, so I won't have a love. That's what they say. So I'm trying to find a job first. And it's like, well, and they won't even allow me to have a job. So I don't even know how to find a love at this point. So, but I was just wondering.
Well, Eric, let's talk about this, because maybe the lesson here is that screw other people. This is your life, and you need to start on your own and love them, yes. Honor them, yes, but you have all the power you need inside. So, Eric, please give us some guidance, because I don't know.
Eric is saying really to honor your feelings, and he's saying your sensitivity that you have is a gift, and to really follow that and honor it, because he's saying you know what's true to your heart, and he says you know how to follow your heart. And he's telling me you're like expanding. Yeah?
But Kim and Eric, it's so hard when other people are saying you're wrong, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's so hard, to keep it together.
Especially if they're actively trying to do it, make it come true. Yeah. So if they're actively in your life, and no matter how you ignore it, if they're actively, making problems for you. Now that's what I'm going through. So.
I agree. So what?
I'm just hoping that I could get love first.
Well,
yes, but
Eric,
what? Sometimes you need to.
Go ahead. I'll talk after you.
No, I mean sometimes you need to get your shit together and love yourself first before you can really find your true love. But go ahead, Eric. You're smarter than me.
And that is exactly true. You need to and he's saying that's part of your prioritizing, putting yourself first. And then he mentioned that you are expanding, that you're growing in your development.
It's about
time. So when that happens, other people sometimes will kind of try to bring you down. They don't want you to get ahead of them. Sometimes because they're afraid that you'll shift out of your relationships with them. There's all kinds of reasons.
Exactly.
They're
That's
saying
exactly
stay true
why
to yourself.
I want to get away from them. I want to get away
from them. Oh, my
God,
this is so true. Because, somebody told me, a very, very wise blog member told me that when I was getting hated by so many people, like the person put on this YouTube, the most evil woman on the internet, that kind of stuff. They said that somebody told me, don't worry about it, because when the light gets brighter, the dark reacts violently. And I think that's what's happening in your case. And I think that's what's happening in mine and many other people. It's like they don't want you to shine, okay?
Right.
They don't want you to outshine them. So they will react against you and be haters because they have made the decision to live in fear instead of the other side of the coin, which is love.
And then the other thing Eric is saying,
but I don't. My
you
God.
do.
This was
You saying it. It can scare them. You can scare them because it threatens their belief system. Because if you're making it with this new set of belief systems, that means everything they've believed in is not true, and it's kind of like you pull the rug out from under them. So that can happen too.
Yeah. So what could you do, Erik? Give her
stay
the
true to her
practical
heart.
stuff.
That's all I show boundaries. And he's saying have compassion for the others. Realize they're coming from a place of unconsciousness, and try picturing them as being allies as opposed to being opposed to you as often as they can. Because when you give them a new role to play, they can start playing it. Okay. Also, he says talk to their higher selves. Talk to their higher selves.
Okay.
Oh. So do you have any super specific practical advice for her? Like, I don't know, what?
He's saying these are lessons that she needs to be able to stand on her own and be a firm foundation. That's what he's saying. These are lessons, and he says she's doing it. She'll get it.
Good. And screw the assholes, okay? Erik, you be by her side and nudge her in the right direction, okay?
Okay, Mom.
Thank you, Erik. Okay. All right. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
Love you.
God bless. Love you, too.
God bless. Oh, God. I mean, so many of us are in that situation. So, what I love about these radio shows is very often we learn from what the questions and the answers to those questions from other people. So I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, so we got somebody from the 561 area code. Hey there, how you doing?
Hi there, Lisa.
Hi, darling. Who are you?
How are you?
I'm
Maddie
good. How are you doing?
Good.
What's your first name?
Hey, Kim. Maddie.
Hello.
From Florida.
Maddie.
Okay. Oh, okay. What you got for us?
Hey, still waiting for Erik to prank me, and
Erik,
invite him into my house every day. I want to know, Erik and Kim, if you can tell me where my future husband is and when he's coming, and what's taking him so long.
Okay. This is funny. I'm getting patience. That to have patience. And for some reason, Erik's telling me to tell you to start writing things down. Like
what thing?
Qualities. Like
what
qualities that you want.
Oh, my God, I have a spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet in alphabetical order.
Oh, my God.
Oh, gosh. Okay,
wow.
Okay.
Makes sense.
He's also saying put the request out and just give it to the universe and sit back. Not sit back. The person's not probably going to come knocking on your door. Hey, I'm him. Or her, whatever. But he says, but just sit back. You're not going to have to try. The situation will be brought to you. And he tells me that the person that you're going to meet is going to have a gentleness about them. They're going to be very gentle with people, situations, and environments. And as far as when it's going to happen, he's just saying divine timing. It could happen any time. He said it's about moving yourself into the correct vibrational match to receive what you've asked for. That's what he said.
Oh. Okay, so how could you do that? I love specifics, man. I want practicality. I want
I tell you, at least you are the best
with
drilling it down.
Okay.
I know, bitch. It's what you're really trying to say. I want
no.
I want details,
awesome.
Man. Oh, you're sweet. Oh, God, you haven't talked to my husband or kids, obviously.
Meditating, focusing, practice. What he's telling me is the more you practice being joyful and doing things you love, the more you put out the vibration of happiness and love and joy. He says, find the sweetness in life and in your soul. And this, I'm getting all goosebumpy. He's saying, and then that sweet soul we were just talking about will find his way to you.
Wow.
So he's just saying, as soon as you get yourself pampered, is what he's saying, pamper yourself.
Okay. Now, can I ask, regarding your dementia interviews that you guys just did, I have my mom that's elderly now, and she has like a favorite child. Out of 4 children, she only has one favorite child, which doesn't care for her because he's very far away. What is their They have a very strange relationship dynamic.
God, I hate that. That's so gross.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's probably past life or other life related. I don't know. Kim, Erik,
it is past life. Erik's saying, it is past life. And he's just saying it was unfinished business in a past life that they continued into this life, and he's making me feel like your mom had a real loss of whatever didn't get to finish being played out. So that was just something that she really resonated with. So
maybe she lost that sibling, but I don't think you should take it personally, okay?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm left with the burden of caring for her. So how? And as far as her lifespan, how much longer do you think she has here with us?
Oh, my God. When is this girl going to die? That's what I said all the time about my dad. No. I mean, I'm just being silly. Okay, go ahead. But not.
Okay, I'll see what I can get. A lot of times they don't really like to give you like a time or a date for death.
It's almost impossible.
It feels like there can be an exit point coming up in this next year. I'm asking him.
It's free will, of course, you know.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's really making me feel like there's a point in a year that she could make that decision.
Yeah.
But just the way I'm kind of seeing it, it looks like failing in that time, so I don't think it's going to be much longer than that. Yeah.
Well, you know,
but it
is
hard to
point
say.
out. Well, I do want to point out
that
I didn't hear. Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick.
I didn't hear the time.
It's going to be in the next year. It's most likely. But I think that the important thing to take away here is that when she transitions, she will see you differently. Okay? She will not see this one person better than the other, etc. But so is that what you said, Kim? Is that it looks like within the next year, it's most likely with free will involved.
And it looks like because she could go on beyond that. She could not take that exit point. But to me, it looked like there's a steady failing over the next year, and it kind of looks like more like she will choose to take it. And then as you were talking, I felt something else too. She felt some kind of guilt with the favorite one. Something that happened in a past life that she's really trying to make up for. And when she does pass, she loves you all equally. It's the part of her personality that is in pain and dysfunctional that's showing that behavior. And I'm connecting with her higher self, and she does love you all. And I can just feel there were lessons for everybody in the way it worked out.
So what was the guilt that she had with this one male sibling that made her feel like she had to act like he was the favorite? What happened?
It was past life. It was past life.
Yeah, I get it. But what?
She let him. She let him down, or she let him down somehow. She really let him down. That's all I'm getting. Or felt like she really let him down, even though it was an event that was supposed to happen.
All right. Well, so we'll go to the next person. Thank you for calling in, Betty. And we got somebody from the 41. Well, come on, click. Oh, good. 414 area code. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Lisa, Kim, and Eric.
Hello.
Hey, babe. Who's
this?
This
is Aaron. Aaron. I'm back in Wisconsin.
Aaron, my main man. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, I want to say kudos to Eric's Urban Camouflage, and also the Instagram. A couple months ago, you pointed out that your husband was a former long rifle marksmanship and person, and so was I. I was in on the All Army Rifle Team, and I used to compete in the Deep South of America, and I even had aspirations to go to the tryouts for the '88 Calgary Winter Olympics, and I couldn't quite get there because in 1986, Ronald Reagan and two of his senators created the Graham-Rudman Act, and they were cutting back on so much military spending that they took away all of the positions that we had on the All-Army Rifle Team. So I got trained by the President's 100, so this team of people, President's 100. So shout out to your husband. I'm also a competitor myself.
Oh, my God. You need to email me because I wanted to get you guys together this conversation. He just got his concealed carry thing recently,
cool.
And he thinks he's badass now. So he's got the Springfield. He's going to buy a Springfield Hellcat. Wow. Anyway, but he is all about safety, and he is an amazing marksman. I mean, he was the national champion in Norway for that kind of stuff. So email me, Aaron. Wow. You know my email address?
Yes. I will, definitely.
Okay, email me, and I'll hook you guys up.
Okay.
So what you got and Erik loved guns, ironically. But
no pun, right? Yeah, I'm sorry about the loss, but he's doing great things.
No. I know.
And
so,
I have a medical question. I think 10 years ago, I had an ultrasound on my liver, and then they performed a biopsy on my liver, and they said, you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And then they looked at my gallbladder, and they said, you have a slow-growing polyp in there. When it reaches 1 centimeter, it's cancer, and we removed the whole gallbladder. And in my head, I said, no, you're not taking my gallbladder. So I did some esoteric-type research, and I used a nutritional intervention and tons of exercise.
Good.
And 2 years later, I had a full total of 5 liver biopsies and 5 ultrasounds. At the end of those 24 months, the polyp was gone, and they'd never seen it before. So
good for you, man.
Thank you. My continued concern is that can I teach something to the medical field with this information, or is it always just going to be an argument, me butting heads with doctors?
You know what, Aaron, let me tell you one thing. You need to, and you guys listen to me because I think it's one of the better books. Get the book called The Body, A Guide for Occupants by Bill Bryson, because he talks a lot about all of what you're saying. It's funny, too. The guy has a great sense of humor. The Body, A Guide for Occupants. And you guys out there, I can't tell you how many patients I have grabbed from the clutches of death because of doctors who are famous and well-known and have a great reputation, but screwed up. And you have to take your own health in your own hands. You have to take responsibility. It's called Google. Find out everything you can about what's going on with you, like Aaron, okay? And go on.
Yeah,
well,
I did a lot.
Erik is saying that traditionally, because they don't know how it happened, and they don't like not to have the answers for one thing. But he's saying you did a great job healing yourself and that you are planting seeds. And he's saying many, many more people will be having like spontaneous remissions that they don't know how they're happening. So he's telling me to tell you to just keep talking about it. Tell anyone who wants to listen, even if you weren't influencing the medical field, which he tells me you are, whether you realize it or not. You're going to influence other people maybe to start trying natural remedies and start realizing that they have to be in a partnership. If they're going to go to a doctor, it's not I hand over all of my power to you and you tell me what's wrong and fix me.
Yes.
It's a partnership where you're actually the boss, and they are helping you to heal. They are your helper, you know. You have to see them like that and not turn over all your power.
Yeah, it's awesome, Aaron, that you called at the time where Kim, a nurse, is helping us here, because I think this is perfect for you. And, maybe you should have a blog and, educate people to be their own best advocate. I don't know, but what do you think, Eric?
Eric, I also do cryo chambers and intravenous vitamins.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What do you think about that, Eric?
He's shaking his head. All good results. And when you said the intravenous vitamins, there was a ping of energy. You're benefiting from that more than you know what to say.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But anyway, just look. Really, please. Get the copy of the book, The Body, Bill Bryson. I swear to God, you will not be sorry. It is funny, and it's a lot of times where your jaw drops. It's one of the best books I've ever read. Anyway, so.
Okay.
I'm definitely.
And I get 10%
you are welcome.
from every sale. No, I'm kidding. All right, thanks, Aaron, and let's go on to the next caller. Bye. Reggie, let's see. Okay, come on. I don't know what's going on with my cursor. I need to curse the cursor, I guess. All right, we got somebody from the 310 area code. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, darling.
Yes, I can hear you. Hi. I wanted to say hello to you all today and then ask Erik if he has advice for me on my path forward. I'd like to do energy work, and I'm starting to get some of my ducks in a row and finally kind of branching off on my own. So if he has advice to give me, I would gladly hear it.
Oh, I feel like this is awesome. But what's your first name?
Gail.
Okay.
Gail, I'm just going to say, as a mom, I don't know if you're married or what, but I feel like my son is crushing on you. I'm sorry if that's inappropriate, but I feel it. He loves beautiful women, and I just feel it just came to me right then. So I'm sorry if that's the wrong thing to say, but
no.
But
we talk. I talk to him in indirect ways. I don't have the board, but I use my pendulum to communicate.
Yeah.
So we have very nonverbal conversations. So that's why I wanted to reach out through the radio show today to be able to maybe hear his voice a little better.
But I feel like he likes you. I mean, he really likes you and is very fond of you.
Well, the first
mutual.
First thing he told me before you even got the question out was you had a brilliant idea. So you're right on track there. And so he's talking about just doing, when you were going to do healing work, that it is important that you continue with your own healing and don't ignore that and just focus on others. But he says you're going to go through your own healing process while you do that.
How did she do that, though? Wait, how did she heal herself?
She'll find where there's discomfort, where there's dysfunction, and that kind of thing. And being she's opening up to being a healer, she'll find the remedies and the people that will help her. She's going to have to learn to follow her own guidance and intuition when she's doing it. Erik says you are remembering who you are. Up until now, he said you'd forgotten. He says you're going
like most
to.
Of us.
The guides are going to be helping you with your spiritual sight, with your clairvoyance. And then they asked me to tell you, I don't know what this is about, but the worst is behind you now. And you you are
Does that make
surmounting
sense?
any previous challenges. Okay.
Sorry, you said the worst is behind me, and then what was the last sentence? You just said
you are surmounting any previous challenges.
Okay.
So you just, you just work through these things, and the other thing he's just asking me to touch on with you, some people get the idea that in order for them to be a healer, they have to be completely healed and whole themselves.
And I've been told that a couple of times, so it's
well,
me back
it is
a little
helpful.
bit.
You're more effective, and it is going to happen. But this is the thing: you are just opening to an energy that's already there and allowing it, assisting it to flow through to benefit the other person. If you can read like a book on Reiki or something, I don't know what you're going to study, but it kind of will explain to you how that works. And yes, as you heal yourself, you'll get stronger and more effective, but that doesn't mean you have to wait for 10 years till you think you're healed. You just start now.
Oh, yeah.
And your gifts will build up as you go. Yeah.
Now,
wait, are you saying that
frequent?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, no.
There are some frequencies and energies that I feel that I really wish that I could share with people. Is that something that if I continue to do Reiki with people, will that be something I could eventually share with people?
Interesting question.
Yeah, and you can actually, what you can do is, especially as you're learning how to put boundaries up and stuff, you can ask to only be given the knowledge when you're supposed to say something about it or when you're supposed to help. Just let your guys know you don't want to be eavesdropping in on all of their personal business. It's too much for me to be involved with. I just want to know what it is that I need to help with.
Okay.
Nice.
And that way you won't get overwhelmed.
So Erik, you help her out, okay?
Oh, he says
I know you want to. I know
you want to. And I was just going to tell, everybody on the call too, but you especially if you're interested in a healer, I'm going to do a free healing at noon this Saturday. And I'll be on Facebook.
Oh, that's my birthday.
All I need is the name. It is. Well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if people just want to send me their name, I'll include you. I don't need to know what the concern is. The healing goes for, it doesn't matter if it's a headache or whatever.
That is awesome. Okay, so Kim, you need to send that to me, and I will post it tomorrow on social media.
Oh, great. Would you? Okay, yeah,
etc. So, yeah, just don't give it to me now because I'll forget. But, yeah, please email that to me. And, guys, thank you so much, all of you. Erik, I love you. And all you peeps that are listeners, the fact that so many of you are light workers that are helping raise the vibration of, 90 seconds, be quiet. Raise the vibration of the world. I'm so grateful to you. I'm grateful to you, Kim, for being the voice of my son. And Erik, God, I love you so much. And
he loves you and says, Mom, thank you to you, too. None of this would be possible without you.
I love you. And, Kim, I'll talk to you Thursday because we got a session about twin flames. And, okay, bye, guys. And don't forget to join us next Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye. Love.